is Jim from Hillside Garden Landscaping. Jim, it's been a strange spring with early warmth and then snow in late April. What are some of the positives and negative effects of this weather?
Well, I look at the positive, try to be positive, and the Forsythia, it's a yellow shrub that's blooming, it's going on 3 weeks that that stuff's blooming. And that's the nice thing, is daffodils the same way. They've been going and going and going. And, that cool weather, keeps them going. Some plants, a lot of flowering trees react that way. Mm-hmm. Cool weather, well, they're flowering, they'll go on and on and on. If you have, hot 80, 85 degree weather, which can happen, sometimes the last 2 days can be gone. So you got to look at the positive effects. And weather plants, the other thing to think about is all this rain and snow that we've been having. And it's depressing to us, but it really hasn't had too many negative effects. Yeah. And slowing down the season is not a bad thing. When we get a real early warm spring, things start to leaf out before they should. Then when we get one of those extremely cold days, we have damage. Mm-hmm. Japanese maple is a plant that'll happen to a lot, and it'll really freeze them and do a lot of damage to the plant. And it looks like so far this year that it's been a pretty nice one from that standpoint.
Yeah. So with more people being home lately, there's been an increase in people starting gardens, and tomatoes are a favorite plant. So is it too late to start tomatoes inside? And why not just buy the plants?
Well, I grow a lot of tomatoes, and the reason I grow mine from seed is because I can never find the plants that I want, because I want to grow certain varieties. So that's probably the main reason. Plus, it's fun to grow, and gives you that satisfaction actually growing them. But as far as tomatoes are concerned, tomatoes are very fast growers. And I have actually planted seed in my little basement light system the 1st of May just to try it with early varieties. And they basically caught up to my other plants without any problem. Mm-hmm. You get into something like peppers. Peppers take a lot longer to grow, and you got to get them going by the middle of March because they're just too slow to get started. So it's way too late on peppers. But tomatoes, you can get away with it.
Okay. Gotcha. What if you started your plants too early, though, and they're getting big and leggy, and it's too early to plant them outside?
That is probably one of the biggest problems people have, especially, gardeners that aren't used to doing it and have had the experience. They get antsy in the middle of winter when they want to start them. And again, tomatoes grow very quickly, so they end up putting them in a window, and then they grow really tall, leggy, and what have you. So just an example, I've got some tomato plants here that I could plant these outside if the time was ready, but I have another month before I can plant these. And they're going to be, growing, they grow quick, and they're going to be ready to do something with very soon. So one of the things you can do is in this particular case, is you can take them and transplant them into a bigger pot.
Okay.
Tomato plant, unlike, we always hound people not to plant plants too deep, but with tomato plants, when you're transplanting them, you can actually bury them right up really quite deep, and they will just form new roots on there. So if you got a plant that's really leggy, you can sink it in a pot, sink it a little deeper, and do that. But you want to give them as much light as possible, keep them fertilized, and just don't put them outside until the weather warms. Tomatoes, when they're growing, they like warm feet, cold soil. So if you jump the gun on a plant and then we have cool, wet, damp weather, they'll just sit there and stagnate. So you need that warm soil before you put them out.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much, Jim.
Okay, this is Jim Hotelling, Home Gardener, Hillside Garden Landscaping. See you the next time.
You can watch Home Gardener every week only on Around the Tiers. For today's segment and to find out more, head to WBNG.com, click on Around the Tiers, and select Home Gardener from the drop-down menu. If you have any home gardening questions that you want answered, send them to liz@hillsidegl.com. Thanks for watching Around the Tiers. 12 News at noon wraps up next. Have a great day.
This has been Around the Tiers.